I'm James White. I'm the founder of In Touch, and welcome to the next series of the 7 Feet Club. I'm delighted to have got Alec Johnson with me today. Alec's a good friend of mine, someone I know, and he's had an incredibly successful business career. And so introduce you to Alec and to have some questions, talk about Alec and how he's achieved success in his business. So Alec, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about you?
Good morning, Borida. It is morning still. Alec Johnson. I'm the CEO of TLC Marketing, TLCmarketing.com if you want to check it out. We're a marketing business sitting in a really small niche, widely recognized as the sort of pioneers of what you would call on-pack promotions. So the reason why you probably bought that Kellogg's this morning or that Stella Artois this evening was probably for that free days out pass or that free round of golf in the evening. So we're the people behind that on-pack purchase stimulation. So we do that not just in the UK but all over the world.
And it's great to have a chance to. I appreciate your time, Alec, today, because we've talked and we've met and known for a while about we've got both me and Alec share a love of a certain football team, which is what brought us together. But tell me a bit about TLC and how you got started with TLC and the years ago. It's all because you've been going for a number of years now. You've such a success as a business. How did it get started?
It started really through an ambition I had of just trying to create something out of nothing myself. I think I realized at the age of 20, 21 that I was probably unemployable.
You had a career in football as well, didn't you? You might tell the story. I
was at Swansea and studied in the evenings, where all my friends at the football club all used to laugh at me as I turned up with my books on away trips for all the away games. And unfortunately finished at 20 at a horrific injury. So stopped playing. I haven't kicked the ball since. So during my football time, I studied marketing. Why not? No idea why. So finished football and thought, hey, I'm going to start a marketing business without any business plan, without any idea or vision as to what I was going to achieve. And found myself just sitting in the middle of this little brokerage part of marketing, which I've since found out is by our non-executive chairman who's advised us for the last 20 years. He always says the best business you can be in is a brokerage business. So I sort of fell into that by chance, where you have no overhead, no investment. You sit in the middle of things and make things happen. And that's really how I sort of fell into this little space of putting brands together.
And you were telling me a great story of how TLC now has grown. And you're in 40 countries now, and you've got 400 odd people around the world in different offices. And how did you take your business idea to that scale and that size? What did you have to do to go on that journey, basically?
Well, we were 10 years through our life cycle when we realised that we were doing some business actually for Orange at the time, and we realised that Orange had a need in another market, and that other market was actually the Netherlands. So we jumped on a plane, went to see the guys in Amsterdam, and quickly realised that the little niche service that I referred to earlier that we sort of pioneered and pushed here in the UK. In the UK, it's super saturated. Everybody has sales promotion, or now as it's evolved into what's called promotional marketing. This is the most savvy market in the world. It's saturated with promotions. You can't buy anything without having something with it. Whereas in Europe, it's completely rare. It's a new thing. It's virgin territory. So we sort of morphed into a European business quite quickly through that sort of penetration of working with clients more deeply. And Orange was the first sort of new frontier for us, working with Orange in Netherlands. You soon realize that, hang on a minute, well, Orange have other markets. Let's look in the other markets. And very quickly you find out that what we do in the UK doesn't actually exist anywhere else in the world. Literally no one was doing what we do.
It's really interesting you mentioned about niche, actually, because one of the things that I talk a lot of people about is about actually having that niche focus. And would you say that having that niche and being focused in that specific area is what was a massive aspect of your success? Was it the key thing, do you think?
It is a real key thing, because we could easily be dragged into lots of other areas of the marketing mix. And we've been really disciplined in just maintaining our core values of what we do. And what we do, we've become the pioneers, the global experts at it. We sort of productized a lot of the things that we do within it. So it's recognized that TLC are known by certain things in the industry.
And you're in how many countries now? 40? Is it right? Did I get it right?
We do business in around 50 countries. We have actual companies and infrastructures in 14.
Wow.
So,
and you've got about 400 staff now?
Yeah, 400 people.
How do you manage all that? Because your job now is, how do you keep all those guys happy? It must be difficult.
I think you've got to always share a vision with them. I think that keeps them happy. I think you've always got to listen to them. You've always got to make sure that you have the structure to be able to give everyone time. And you can't do that individually with everybody. I'm proud to say I know every single one of the 400 people, by the way.
Do you really?
Every single one of them.
Wow. Would you still get involved in all the appointments of everyone, or is it still a case of where you'd meet them all once you've...
when I travel, I will understand the team. I'll know something about every single one of them, whether it's their dog or their mum. Or their football team.
That's a really important point, isn't it? Because it actually makes them feel they connected with the leader of the organisation. They feel that they know you and build a relationship with you.
But I genuinely want to do that. I want to know something about every single one of them. So, it's very important that every single office shares in the vision. It's communicated. Everyone understands where we're going as a company. I think that's a really important part of our success, actually. And then another part of our success is then to just always have fun. So we will have parties every Christmas and parties every summer, every office, always themed, always great fun. Everyone drinks too much, but during those parties, I try and sort of get to as many as I can. I will walk and talk with every single one in that office. And a typical TLC office would have 35, 45 people. And I would talk with every single one of them and know something about them and learn about them.
And that's something I know from you, in terms of knowing your leadership style is all about being visible and open and upfront, but talking about people. Is that something you think is key for a lot? People listening to this are going to say, I'm going through a journey, I haven't got that many staff, I'm trying to build a team. Is that something you think is really key? Is being able to just be visible with your staff as you grow?
Yeah, I think be visible, and I think I'll always refer to positive communication. I think even in tougher times, you need to over-communicate in tougher times so that people know that you're there. People know what the outcome is likely to be. And good or bad times, we always need to be sharing where we are going next. I think it's important that everybody has to contribute to where you're going next. They all have to know their roles in where you're going next, so that you get there.
And in terms of hiring and culture, what do you look for? There are tips that you would give to people listening to this again in terms of, if they're hiring people for the first time. Is there anything you look for when you hire people that you think, actually, that's key to me more than anything else?
Well, we have a TLC way of doing things. Okay. I'm pointing at a TLC way.
Yeah, I can see the TLC way there.
Yeah, so we have a TLC way of doing things. And at the bottom of that, the base of everything that we do is our culture. So if you turn that little thing around, which I will, I'll show Jim and maybe send you a little screenshot of it. There's three elements to running a business and building a business. At the end, of course, we're all in it for profit. In order to generate profit, you need to do great work. You need to have a great product. You need to have something which stands out in the marketplace. So if you layer that with profit being the top end goal, you have the great work in the middle. At the bottom of everything, the base of everything, in our opinion, is the culture. So when you're hiring people, they have to fit a certain culture. And what we mean by culture is having people, I refer to fun again, who can enjoy themselves when they come into work, people who are very productive, a culture where people feel that they're being listened to, where people understand the goals, what their expectations are, where people understand that they have a potential progression within a business. That creates a culture.
Gives them a vision for where you're going, and they want to be part of that journey, basically.
Completely. So if you then have a good culture, the natural byproduct of a good culture is great work.
Yeah.
So too many companies, banks, cars, hotels, retailers, focus too much on either profit or the actual product, and not the culture. Yeah. You can go in anywhere and see a unhappy person serving you. That's not a great culture. Right. So for us, everything is about having the right person to fit into our culture, to do things the TLC way. So then the byproduct is naturally you do great work. When you do great work, people feel motivated and listened to and directed. Then the profit flows from there. And
I know we're short time. You got an appointment this morning, which is, that's the nature of you. You're engaging with clients. But is there a piece of advice you give to anyone about you've built a business and incredibly successful business. Is there any bit of advice you give to anyone listening to this that are starting, not even on that journey or even halfway through that journey, as to what to do to make sure they get to where you've got to and achieve the success you have? Is there any sort of one or two things you'd say to people that stick in your mind that you've done that you think that's the route to getting where you want to get to?
I think you've touched on it already, Jim, which is really around having the people around you. I think it's absolutely key to have the skill sets around you in the right places. I'm not a very operationally minded person. I think you've got to have someone who can literally complement your skill sets. So whoever you bring in around you, they have to do things that you can't do and better than you can do it. And you have to be able to self-recognize that. And if you do, you can then build the people around you that can take you on the journey as to where you want to be. I think it's very, very important that you have two parts to a vision. You have what you're doing next and what you're doing in the future. I think that's really what you need to build towards. And if you have that long-term goal always in your mind, and not just the trench that you may find yourself in today, then that gets you through the trench. That gets you to the next field and beyond. And
I guess it keeps you motivated. Now, I know from you, your energy's in boundless. You always got this drive to want to do it. And I guess that keeps that energy going, because you've always got to want to continue to progress and do things. So.
Yeah. I think you've got to want to succeed. I think coming back to the boundless energy, you have to have people who have that skill set in the sort of outward-facing roles of the company. Yeah. So if you hire people who don't have that hunger, who don't have that dynamic, would you buy from the people who are literally talking to your customers or your clients? If you don't have the person in that role, then you're not going to succeed. Would you buy what you need to buy from the person you're hiring? Yeah. I think that's always a question we ask ourselves. And when we have 70 or 80 people who are what we would say more client-facing in our world, and it's a never-ending training program with them to make sure that they're constantly evolving. They're always pitching to us, not in a sort of critical way, but in a constructive way. And I think it's very, very important that they have that energy. They take that passion into the room. They share, and it rubs off from you as the leader. Yeah. You have to give that to them. Some people just don't have that, and obviously, then you have to be decisive.
And you have to make tough decisions, I guess.
If you don't make the tough decisions, if you're not decisive with the people around you, they can kill a company.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I know we've run out of time, but this has been brilliant. I mean, your insight is great. As I say, I've always loved having a beer and dinner with you. I know we've got a meeting you need to get to, so much appreciated from my perspective, and hopefully the listeners in the podcast are going to love having your wisdom. Hopefully, we might be able to get you back on in a time again in the future, where maybe over a beer when we can talk through some football stuff and other things. But really appreciate, Alec, your time and your wisdom. And as I say, I know that a lot of the listeners are going to find it incredibly valuable. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Cheers.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks. And okay, that was Alec for TLC Marketing. More to come from the Seven Figure Club very soon. Thanks, Bye.